And so somebody else commented, that, oh, I may, act like I'm taking the high ground, I don't know, but when I talk about whether it's legal to torture somebody, and that guy Wu is now at Berkeley, and they interviewed him in the LA Times, and he sees himself, oh yeah, I'm this lone wolf amongst all these, this galaxy, this bastion of liberals, Berkeley, and but the guys, I mean, how can you say that guy took the high road? Okay, John Woo, trying to work loopholes so Cheney and the president at that time could torture people. Okay? And that's not what America's about. And if I talk about, taking the high road, what America's supposed to be like, excuse me, not standing for truth, justice, and the American way? That's not justice to grab people on the street, throw a bag over their head, take them somewhere and interrogate them and waterboard them and stick bamboo shoots underneath their fingernails and make them stand in positions for, all right, Wu said as long as there's no physical harm. So they'll deprive you of sleep, put you in a really, really cold room, and the waterboarding. And hanging you in stress positions and making you stay in stress positions. And everyday normal people would not put up with that. And you put them through that, they'd have to say it's torture. But John Woo is trying to work on this definition. So how am I staking a position of the high ground and that being false? It's plain to see what the high ground is on there. And sure, I was talking with somebody today about if you're wicked or the good. And when you're wicked, when you're evil, you have a wide spectrum of choices. A wide spectrum. And that doesn't make you stronger. It might help you win, because you got all these choices, because you'll do anything. There's no stopping you. And there's something that's happened in the American character where people admire that. And when you try to do the right thing, your choices are narrowed. I won't kill that mother's baby, no matter what you do, I just can't do it, I won't gas those people no matter what you can do it. What a hard thing to do, to put yourself first. Well, if you don't do it, we'll kill you. And there's been people in history that said, kill me, torture me, you're not going to make me do it. That's what the whole idea of Christianity is founded on. A man that was tortured by the Romans. Or some say it's a myth, but I don't. I do believe there was a rabbi that emerged in the Middle East there, around Rome and all that. It was part of the Roman Empire, Not around Rome, but you know what I'm talking about. Was it Galilee and all that? And I'm not going to argue that with somebody. If they want to say never existed, fine, whatever. It's all belief. You don't have the facts. How do you prove a negative, How do you prove a positive sometimes? I don't know. How do you prove a negative? What does that mean? I don't know. But you can't. They don't have any physical proof that he didn't exist. And yet we don't have, but archaeologists are getting closer and closer. They know that Pilate was alive. They have records of that. The Romans kept very good records. But, a lot of stuff is lost over millennia too. So that was that whole idea of self-sacrifice, not doing whatever it takes to get ahead. When I was a young man, I was a kid. I was in high school. I was about to graduate. And this is the start of the 80s. And I told my old man, I said, you know what? I'm willing to step on some toes to get somewhere. And I used to look at my dad, who was a really, really smart guy, but was not what we would call in the norm of what, America is, what most people point at. I see people on YouTube saying, "Oh yeah, you live in a trailer, blah. Oh, you don't amount to anything. You're vlogging from your place that looks like it's a piece of crap. You're not worth anything." Because somebody's vlogging from a nice space, a nice house, people look up to them for some reason. Well, yeah, I mean, that was my father. He didn't fit the definition of success. And I used to think, man, you just didn't live up to your potential, Because I know you're brilliant. And I mean, he made me look sorry in math, but I was stronger in language, I think, than my father. But not languages, but reading and writing, that sort of thing. And my old man would just shake his head and just say, that whole idea of stepping on people's toes to get ahead, he didn't approve of that. He didn't raise me to be that way. In the long run, he did. I found out what the real world is like. I mean, I could talk tough about that. Oh yeah, I'll climb my way to the top. I'm going to be a success. And the real world can, if you're not lucky in some cases, the world can beat you down. And then you become practical, you become realistic. And in many ways, I'm very much like my old man, except I didn't raise kids, which my old man always said, don't ever get married and have kids. Poor old guy. He was 55 when he had me. My mother was 30. My old man was 55. And, yeah. Oh, thanks for listening to me reminisce about my personal life. But I was talking, my dad was old school. He was born in 1907. He still remembers when neighbors helped each other out, and there was this whole I got mine. And that's the stuff that happened. Remember, the 80s, Ronald Reagan. I remember one of the fashion accessories was number one. You'd wear a number one around your neck because it was all about the go 80s. It was all about making money and getting rich and flaunting it. That's when the whole thing was owning a BMW, and having expensive sunglasses. I mean, nobody talked about that stuff when I was a kid. Nobody cared about name brand shoes that you had, really, all that much. I remember the expensive shoe for me that my parents wouldn't buy were Keds. Remember Keds? And it, and my parents would buy me shoes from Kmart, and but it didn't stick out like a sore thumb, like now. It's what shoe you're wearing, big old Nike emblem on the side. Boy, I really am babbling. I'm just annoyed with stuff. I'm annoyed with where our country went, and and the right, people like Sarah Palin are always talking about family values. What a bunch of fucking hypocrites.